Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Princess of STEM, where we discuss all things science, technology, engineering, and math. And now your host, Dr. Whitney Gaskins.
One thing AI can't do is build the next bridge that's going to go
I can't
across.
build the robot.
So here's what if you want to bring, what you need to bring back to the United States is construction, not manufacturing, especially since the state of our infrastructure is so poor.
I think we got an F again.
Yes.
Like I was like, our infrastructure has an F, and we are acting like we don't need trades. I need someone that knows how to fix the infrastructure. Bridge collapsing. Didn't that happen?
Minnesota,
Yeah.
I believe. So that's where we don't need people necessarily on the line of a traditional manufacturing plant that's producing cars.
Yes.
But we do need about 1,000 bridges replaced in this country in the next few years. We
Yes.
need roads, we need buildings, we need riverbeds, we need a lot of things.
Yes.
But nobody's addressing that need, so no one's training the next generation of
Well,
people.
let's be honest though. People put their nose up in the air at people that have jobs that are in trades. We made it a class system, not by money, because if you thought about it, I always think about like the plumbers and people like, I don't want to be a plumber. And I'm like, they make more money than I do. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. But we made it a class system, and people hate being looked at poorly for their life choices.
Well, part of that is because we've made going to college the end all.
A glamorous.
Yeah. A necessity when it isn't, you know?
Yes.
It isn't. None of the people we graduate are going to help us actually put steel and connect it to steel on the next bridge. You know, they may do some design work. They may do a lot of things, logistics, but in the end, somebody's got to be able to, and that's not an intuitive task. You know, when you building anything complicated, it's not, if you see someone you know is not mechanically inclined and you give them a small project, it's not going to come out well.
You see those people. They're the people I laugh at. They're like, they can't put IKEA furniture together. And I'm like, you're not mechanically inclined, because that furniture is really not that hard. But there's all these jokes about it. But I'm like, maybe that's why I was an engineer or something. Because I'm like, you guys, it's really not that challenging. But anyway.
So that's where we are. We have the job. We have the need. We don't have an idea that we need to develop the talent.
Okay. I have to do this intro though,
Okay.
right? Because welcome to another episode of Princess of STEM Diaries. I am so excited about my guest today. This is Dr. Jeffrey Johnson, sitting with me today, having just a chat. And he even asked, like, why do you want me here? Well, I have to tell you this because I don't think I've ever told you this explicitly. You might remember it all, but I don't know if I've shared my view on this. He's here today because I wanted him to talk about mentorship and just life. But when I graduated in undergrad, I had won Miss Black Ohio, and I was outside where the old College of Business was, and I was sitting out there. You drove by and you rolled down your window and you said, I am so proud of you. I heard that you just won that pageant. I'm really proud of you. And I remember being like, you heard about that? That's amazing, because you kept up with me. Then we had a conversation. I was in graduate school getting my master's degree in the College of Business, and I needed a project, and you, without hesitation, worked with me on a project. And you asked me then, like, you should go to graduate school, you should come back, you should do this. And I was like, no. I actually think I cussed at you. Not happening. And you were like, I don't understand why, but okay. And you didn't push, you didn't judge. You just were like, okay. And then I did want to do it. And you were like, you should do this engineering education thing, because I made that really joke about the visual burrowing system. So if you've ever heard me tell this story, I tell it all the time about the visual burrowing system and the rats, and how I said I felt like I was one of the subordinate rats in engineering, and you didn't really think it was funny at the time that I said it. This is who I'm talking about. This is who I said it to. And you told me to go to graduate school and study it in engineering ed. And I went to you and I asked you for a letter of recommendation so I could go to Purdue. And you said no. Do you know why you said no?
No.
You don't remember this?
No. I don't remember the no part.
You said no because you said you should do it here. Then you said, if you really want to go to Purdue, I'll write it. But I don't think you
Yeah.
should go to Purdue. I think you should
Okay.
do it here with me. And that's how I ended up with the PhD. Like, I ended up working with you.
Mhm.
But I say this because I don't think you realized how much you meant to me in the journey. Because this is not my story to tell, but I had a friend who was also in the biomedical engineering program with me who had some life things going on, and you promised her that she was going to graduate, and she did. And it wasn't traditional for her to be able to graduate, but you made it possible. And you mean a lot to us,
Oh,
like, and a lot to me personally. I wouldn't have gone to grad school if it wasn't for you. No one else asked me to go to grad school but you.
Well, this is probably why I said no to Purdue initially, is because to make it through something like this, you need somebody in your corner.
1,000%.
And if you don't already know who that is, you're going to go to Purdue and you're going to hope you find that person. And if you don't,
Yeah.
it's going to be a problem. So
You
I
were like,
know
"Just
you
stay
had
here with
people
me."
here.
Yeah.
And so that's better. What you know, maybe, yes, Purdue would have been a great experience, but I knew you'd get through because you had someone who was going to help you get through.
Yeah, but no one ever told me that it was possible. I remember we used to have lots of talks. I don't know if you remember them. You made fun of me because I was like, I don't know what year I was in grad school. And I was like, oh, there's these jobs. It's a professorship. And you're like, you can't do that. You don't even have your doctorate. And I was so mad at you. Like, I can't do that. And you were like, it's a professor. And I think that's when you realized, like, I had no idea that there were like levels to this. That's why I was like, I don't think people realize how much mentorship is needed. I was in grad school and still didn't know that there was a difference between an assistant, an associate, and a professor. No one broke that down for me before. You also were the only reason. I remember saying this to you. I didn't want to get a PhD because I don't know any women that are married or have children that have a doctor. Do you remember this conversation? And you were like, that is not true. You can go to graduate school and still get married and have kids and have a family. You can do anything that you want. And I was like, I don't know. At the time, were there people in the college that did that? There were no Black women.
No, there were certainly not going to be any Black women.
Okay, so why would you think
Okay.
that, like, I would be like, yes, this is possible?
Because if it's important, you can make it happen.
Yeah, that's what you like said to me. And I remember looking at like this. I don't know, but you supported it 100,000%. Like, I just was like, he's serious.
Well, I had some support. Everybody needs support. And what a mentor realizes is they're just passing it forward. They're
Yes.
just, and if they're good at it, they are going to recognize that whoever they're mentoring has some qualities that they actually would like to have themselves. And their job is to just help that mentee navigate the process, not to turn that person into another version of themselves, but to turn them into a better version of themselves.
You used to tell me that a lot. I think you knew who I was working for, and you would be like, think about the things that you like and make sure you learn those things, but you don't have to be that person. That was very helpful.
Well, too often, especially in academia, professors think they're trying to make many me's.
Yes.
And there's already one of them. Why do we need two of you? We need diversity in thought
Yes.
and in behavior and actions and in motivation. And that's not going to happen if you suppress the inherent goals and drives and motivations of the person you're working with and replace them with your own.
Yeah.
So I knew you could do it. I knew it wasn't going to be easy because, again, you have to do it in this environment. But if there's someone who says it's going to happen, that's better than you going someplace and...
I agree. I almost died getting that doctorate. I remember being in the hospital and I was like, I didn't realize how much stress I was under, which is sad because we were studying stress. But I couldn't imagine if I would have done that somewhere else. Like, who would have cared?
You would have cared.
Who would have cared? I'm assuming I would have found people, but that is a hope and dream that hopefully somebody would have been there to support me.
If you were going someplace where I knew people and I say, okay, this is the person who can help you through this process, and then that would have been an issue.
Different. Okay.
But at Purdue, great school, I'm sure great faculty, but was there someone? Was there someone who was going to say, this is the person I'm going to go to the wall for and make sure she gets through this program? And probably not.
Well, I will tell you, because of how you mentored me through, I've been able to mentor other students through, and I just don't think I've ever told you thank you. Like, the reason why I wanted you on here partially is like, there is no Dr. Gaskins without Dr. J.
Well, there's no Dr. J without someone else. I mean, I'm just passing it forward.
Yes, but that's a big thing for me. Because we have the Gaskins Foundation, the programs, my kids, the life. It's because you told me I could do it.
Yes. Well, but we're not done yet.
We're not done. You still work with me. Aren't you tired of me?
You're doing, like I said, every person you mentee has some qualities that you like to possess yourself.
Yeah.
And your ability to just do so many different things and have such a big impact. I'm still that traditional, I'm in my lab doing my thing kind of person. Going to a high school was one of my ways I kind of
branched out.
And sitting in a high school classroom teaching freshman girls math is probably one of the most important things I've been able to do. Because without that background, they have no shot.
They have no shot.
No mindset, not just skill, but no mindset that they're going to go off and do this. And so really when I see, and they don't have to be engineers or go into STEM, but if they want to, someone should be there saying, you can do this.
Yes.
And that's all I do. I just say, oh, you can do this. And it's
not all. Don't minimize it. Do you know how many people do tell people what they can and cannot do?
I know. That's how I shifted over from college to high school when I talked to I was coaching at the same school, and I had a very bright senior, and I asked her what she wanted to do in college, and she listed every medical profession except one. And I said, well, don't you want to be a doctor? And she said, well, my cousin said that it would be too hard for me. And I asked, is your cousin a doctor? And she said, no. And that was it. That's all she needed to hear. And she did not go into an MD program.
Because someone told her
because
that it would be too hard
some random
for her.
cousin said it's too hard for her. And I made the decision right then that I was going to go teach at this high school and teach freshmen, sophomores, math, and preferably geometry, because it's really what I see as the first real STEM, real engineering class.
No,
because
geometry, we be fighting.
And but most people.
I loved the logic behind geometry.
I
love the logic, the proofs and all of that. That's great.
That's what makes you an engineer.
Oh, that's probably why. Okay.
That's what makes you an engineer. And so I'm looking for those people. We would start every class doing Sudoku, because that would help. And some people they couldn't get it. And that's fine. STEM is not for you. Engineering is not for you. You're going to be very, very good in another discipline, but the logical process of working through that simple puzzle is the same process you need in engineering. And so I'm looking for, and I'm finding people who are very good at this game, who are even better at this game than I am. I'm like, you definitely should be going into engineering.
You have a mind for it.
Nobody would have told them that otherwise.
That's interesting. Sudoku.
Yep.
Okay. I remember I don't know anybody that I grew up with that was an engineer, but I grew up in an area where people built a lot of things, and like we had shops still at our high school, and so I built a lot of things, and I grew up building. My grandpa had a carpentry area in the barn. Sounds so country. In the barn, and so he was building furniture all the time. So like I was always there doing that kind of stuff, and I think that's what helped me think about like logical process and flow. And my family grew up doing puzzles. I didn't realize how much that played a part in my mind, like of who I am.
You say, well, that's so country, but we built a NASA that sent people to the moon off the backs of country people.
I agree.
They came off of farms. They were mechanically inclined.
Yes.
They didn't have AP tests and an SAT test, and they didn't they just could figure it out.
Yeah.
And we're losing that ability because people don't work with their hands anymore.
Yeah, we don't tinker.
We don't do this whole 3D visualization that you were really so, keen on getting into. That's so important, and having things in your hand where you have to rotate them, see how they fit together. That's the process we have lost in our drive to have a degree, a college degree.
So couldn't a degree help you get those skills? Like, do you have to be born with this skill, or do you just need to have exposure to this skill?
You have to have exposure to it, and you have to practice it like anything. For any skill has to be practiced. And what we're not practicing is the building of things.
I agree. Because I can't even get my own kids to play with Legos in the way that I loved Legos.
Legos were amazing.
I love them. I still
Yep.
buy them. And they
Yep.
just kind of like, they're like 2 bricks. And then they're like, all right. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I would do Legos. I built all kinds of things and was proud of my creations. They are not that into it.
And that's fine because
No,
they
not fine.
part of as a mentor, even to your own children, you have to realize that their strength may lay elsewhere. And
Video games?
well, their weakness may also lie elsewhere.
That's it. Yeah.
But video games are a problem because they're just a big vacuum of time.
But it does teach you something. I was a big gamer also.
I am too.
I didn't know that. You always drop some nuggets that I love. Okay, but I love them, and they do teach you perseverance. Because I was not going to lose. Like, no, and I'm going to find all the things that I need to find to beat the level. Like, I think the level of perseverance that you can get from a video game is beautiful, because it's a safe place to fail, if that makes sense. Like, it's a game, so you can fail and keep doing it. I love that side of it.
That's an excellent point. It's a safe place to fail, and we have not made school a safe place to fail.
No, it's high stakes. Like, people act like they ruined their lives by 5th grade, and you're like, you're 11 or 10. I don't like, what are we talking about? But they have like the stress of school. I didn't feel that, which I'm happy about, but I don't know how to shield kids from it anymore.
It is a problem because what makes you good at math is perseverance. I call it a high threshold for math frustration. You're just going to work that problem until you get it done, because deep down you can do it. But so many students don't have that belief they can do it because they've had a bad experience or someone's told them your math is just, so they try a little while and then they give up.
Yes.
So yes, I agree that games, because it's a safe place to fail, can build perseverance. But if we don't translate that safe place into the classroom, all that they've learned, all the skills they've developed in that game, doesn't help them in school.
Okay. I agree with that. I have not learned that. Okay. I have to be clear though. My son is only 6. So it's not like I'm expecting these huge translations of perseverance anywhere, but I do notice it already.
Yes.
Like, I'm like, oh, he has anxiety already, I think. And I'm trying to figure out how to help manage that. But I am also like, wow, he's not different from society, even though I know better from a standpoint. Like, I didn't have anxiety in school. I didn't feel this pressure. I'm okay if he doesn't master everything first try, but for some reason he's learning that message somewhere else. And it sucks because I can't shield him from it.
Being a parent in this society of social media and ridiculous expectations it's impossible, because your influence is diminished drastically over the life of your child, because they spend a lot of time doing who knows what with who knows whom and getting who knows what message.
Yes.
And it's hard to overcome, which is why, again, I thought if I'm at least in front of these students an hour a day, a couple hours, 3 hours a week, the message I'm going to give them is consistent.
Yes.
And over time, hopefully that's going to counter some random thing they hear or something they see on TikTok or Instagram.
Well, that's also why I asked you, when was this, a month ago, about schools? 2 months ago? And I'm like, if I decided to do a homeschool, would you be my son's teacher? And you said yes.
I think homeschooling does a lot of wonderful things, as long as you can continue to build that social aspect, because that's one of the things that's most important about school is kids learn how to just be together.
Yes.
And yes, sometimes it doesn't go well, but they also learn how to deal with that too.
Yeah.
But homeschooling isn't, as you've shown me, it's not the same thing as it used to be, where you're sitting in your uncle's barn,
no,
building things.
There's like a whole curriculum.
There's a whole curriculum.
You actually have to register for it. They track your kids' progress. There's testing, and also like it's not. I think people think of homeschool like maybe a Little House on the Prairie, and it's not that at all. But I also thought it would be important, if we were to go down that route, for my child to be surrounded around people who would speak life to them while learning, so that way they can truly understand the material and themselves as people. Now, that doesn't mean it doesn't happen in school, but there are so many other influences. Like my kid calls me bro. I
Mhm.
don't talk like that
Right.
around my kid. Where
Right.
did you learn that
Yeah.
from?
Mm-hmm.
School.
Right. And that's why I said it's very difficult because school is such a huge influence because they're trying to fit in.
Yes.
And so they're trying to adopt the same practices and mannerisms and attitudes of the people around them. And if you don't have control over that environment, then they're going to come away with things you don't really want them to come away with.
Yes.
So, but it even goes to the teachers. Teachers don't understand the impact they have. And they say
Over a kid's
things.
life. Yes.
They do things.
Yes.
This child is not your child.
Yeah.
That child is going to be a person that's going to live their life, and you're just here to teach them some skills that they need to be successful, but not to turn them into a different person.
They try though.
They do try. Because they've already determined what type of person every kid needs to be.
Yes. Based off of what though?
Based off of who they were.
Mm.
And a narrow
It's their
definition of
triggers.
success.
Yes.
And what they've forgotten or maybe never even learned is it takes all kinds.
Yes.
It takes all kinds.
Yes.
And
We need to be fostering that.
they are not comfortable with all kinds.
I'll say this though, as a professor, even in college, it is really hard to teach all kinds of different people.
Mhm.
You have to have a true appreciation and love for people
Mhm.
to be able to set your own triggers aside. Because I've had students that I'm like, what? I've had students that I've completely bonded with and like have had wonderful relationships with, and then some that I'm like, we're oil and water, but my job is still to teach you. It is actually hard. And I have the benefit of I don't see them until college. So in high school and I don't know, primary school especially, like I think teachers probably have to have a higher level of social and emotional intelligence for themselves. Like their EQ needs to be really high to not be triggered by little kids.
Well, they also have to know what they are probably not capable of doing and not
Yes.
put themselves in that environment. So I teach in an all-girls school.
Yeah.
I would not teach at an all-boys school
Why?
because because at that age, boys are going through a huge transition.
So are girls.
But girls manage that transition differently.
I think it's the same transition.
I tell my students when they get upset and they cry over something.
Yes.
I say, well, I'd rather you cry than put your fist through the wall.
Oh.
And so
Interesting.
and I need them to understand that crying is fine. Crying is just a way you release tension, and you're never going to be judged on it, and it's not a bad thing because putting your fist through the wall is not a better thing.
Yeah.
It's in fact a worse thing.
Yes.
So again, it's building that environment where failure it's safe to fail.
Yeah.
And they need to understand that it's not a fail. It is now I realize something I didn't know before.
Yeah.
It's only a failure if you don't take that into consideration the next time, if that doesn't change your behavior. So I have a list of steps students have to follow to solve a problem. Because
I would be annoyed with you.
it
I
mimics-
don't need to do step 1, 2, or 3. I got that down. Even though I tell my students they have to follow the steps too.
But, if you don't follow the steps, there's consequences
There are consequences. Oh, on the test?
on the test.
You
So
take off points?
I take off points. They
Oh.
cannot circle their answer.
You're that professor.
I am that professor.
I tell my students about this all the time. I was like, you guys, there are people that will take off points if you don't box your answer or circle it. And they're like, no, they won't. And I'm like,
I take off points if they do.
wait, why?
Because if you follow the steps, the last thing you should write is the answer.
Yeah, but
Down the page, one step at a
you do know
time.
not
boom.
everyone writes neatly.
They are going to learn. I have a page. It's got 11 steps.
Yeah.
11 points that they need to incorporate into their solution.
Okay.
Because in the end, it comes out that it slows them down.
Mm-hmm.
It puts them starting at the place they need to start.
Yes.
And too often, they don't read the problem. They jump in.
No, they answer something you didn't even ask for
They
half
answer
the time.
So this slows them down. And then now I see them, they're still freshmen. They all came in, circling their answer, boxing their answer,
Yeah.
putting it anywhere on the page. And now they
I
sit
am
there.
a circle your answer girl.
There's no need.
I hear you. if you can write down the page neatly, I find that I'm teaching college students to do that. I don't know why they don't do that. I guess it's not.
They've never been taught. And this is why I do it.
I would learn that in high school
I was
or
helping
something.
a junior chemical engineer solve a
Yeah,
problem.
like you just...
Boom. He all over the place. Couldn't remember where he put the last step. He was all over the place. I said,
don't
oh, it's
get
over there in the
that.
corner.
Like, yeah. I was like, who taught you guys how to do homework? Like, why are you guys writing?
They're all over the place because you can't do something you're not taught.
Yes, but they don't believe me either. So there has to be a point of failure sometimes for them to then be like, oh, now I get why she told me to do that.
The point of failure is you're going to lose points. And then in general, that's
So
all
you
it
build
needs.
in the point of failure. Or yeah.
Okay. That's all they need is to know that if they do it this way, they get points. If they don't do it this way, they lose points. And at that level, freshmen, that's all they need.
Yes.
And if they need more, I say, look at any textbook. This is how they solve
do
it.
the problem.
That is the language of math. You know, this is how we solve every problem. They do it because it helps you understand what they're doing. Now it's your job to help me understand what you're doing.
What you're doing. I tell them that too. I need to know what you're thinking. Because sometimes you mess up in the middle, but your process, even your thought process, is still solid.
And I give them credit for that.
Yeah, like I need to know.
Credit.
They don't hear me on that though. I also teach freshmen, so in college. So they're still fresh off the transition.
And that 4-year difference between a freshman in high school and a freshman is a difference between being able to adapt and learn and being set in your ways. Because it's so hard to teach them past that point.
Yeah, to change behaviors. They do have to hit a wall. Like I had a student who believes this with their full heart, that they can teach themselves how to do anything. So that's the approach that they took their freshman year in college. And it was not successful. And it was really hard because they still felt like, oh no, it was other factors. And I'm like, no, it's because you need to learn how to learn. You can't teach yourself how to do anything. Like there are some people that are really great at that, but this was your opportunity right now and it wasn't successful. So we should probably look at how you learn and stay. And that was a hard conversation.
And you also need to tell them that it doesn't help if all we do is develop talent that can't collaborate, can't work together.
Yeah.
These problems they're giving you can't be solved by yourself.
And they're not intended to.
They're not intended to because they are intended to also foster a collaborative teamwork, you know, and we saw that in the capstone where there are students who just could not work together.
What was the issue?
Well, the issue is either they felt, I know what I'm doing and I don't need anybody else. They're not open to other ways of doing things. You have to put your ego aside to work in a team. And the smartest people are the quickest to put their ego aside because they are not going to fight over this step or that step. They'll let their process run through, see that it doesn't work, and then they'll just chime in and say, let's try it this way. But there's nothing to be gained by starting a fight before the result.
Yeah.
So I'm always looking for the person who says the least in the design process because that's probably the person that's going to run the show at the end.
They're taking it all in.
They're taking it all in.
Yeah.
They're listening. And then the people who aren't listening are ones who are not really going to be very good leaders.
I feel like I used to, younger, jump in and have solutions fast. I don't know when that stopped for me. Probably not till college. I had some really brilliant classmates that I still like talk to, like truly brilliant. And I think that it was important for me to learn from them.
And that's what the smartest people do. They realize I have some skills, but so do all of other people. And if I don't listen, I'm never going to learn those skills
I
too.
soaked it all in. That's why, probably why we're still friends. So I'm like, they were some of the most amazing people to learn from and work with. Okay. But I have to do this too because we haven't done this. I learn a lot about you that you don't share.
Okay.
You ran track in college.
Yes.
What did you do?
I ran track and cross country. I ran the 1500 in track, and cross country is 5 miles.
Oh my God, that sounds horrible right now. Sorry. If I had to run 5 miles right now, woo, yikes. Okay. Could you run 5 miles right now? Do you run with your students?
I do not run. I ran up and through 40, but I'm having this debate. I'm very competitive, and I don't run for fun. I run because I wanted to reach a goal. I was driven to run. I didn't like running, but I liked being good at something and very, very good at something.
You ran in college on a scholarship.
Yes, I did run in college.
So
on a
it
scholarship.
wasn't that you don't like that's highly competitive to do something that you don't like that on that level.
Oh, I don't like running. I don't like running distance. It took me years
5 miles?
to accept that, I need to put my mind in a different place. And it took me to my junior year in college to realize that I can do this. Even though I was successful at it, I could be more successful if I just changed my attitude and so going to my junior year, it was just even my teammates said, "What the heck did you do all summer?" And all I did in the summer was just change my approach. I just said, I can do this. And instead of there are a lot of things in whatever you try that are against you.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't be one of those things.
Ooh, I feel that hit my spirit.
And that's all I decided to be. I wanted to put myself on my side instead of the other side.
Oh my gosh, I really needed that word. Like, I don't need to fight myself. We get enough obstacles.
We have enough obstacles.
Wow. Okay, so 5 miles and then 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
I heard there was an Olympic.
So I quit my first job after getting my PhD at Wright Pat Air Force Base.
Yeah.
To go to Indiana, train for the Olympic trials.
You hate running, and you're going to go to the Olympic
Well,
trials.
because I quit because I realized I was running in the morning, running after school, and I'm trying to do something where my competitors
are doing it full time.
They're doing it full time.
This is their job.
This is their job.
Yeah.
And so I decided I'm going to go to Bloomington. It was a mecca of running at the time. And I'm going to run there for 3 years from 93 to 96 Olympic trials. And I'm going to put everything into it. And it's going to be the priority it was always something I did on top of, besides the fact I was an engineering student or then working full time as an engineer. This was going to be what I did. And
That's amazing.
Well, it was an amazing time. It was a very intense, it was amazing time. I'll never do that again.
You said, nope. Not again. No, that's 3 years though.
3 years of my life I just put towards running. But in the same time, because I waited to get my PhD before I started it, I had some opportunities that my teammates didn't have who were also out of college. Instead of working at a grocery store or working, doing odd jobs, my first job was working at a cyclotron at the physics department at Indiana University.
Oh, yeah.
And then my second, I was a visiting assistant professor in computer science at IU.
You never told me this. Do you understand all these nuggets that come out?
These things have to do with me. They don't really have to do with you.
Yeah, but you understand how amazing this story is? A lot of people don't pursue their dreams. Mm-hmm. People literally sit on their couch wishing that they could do some of the things. They don't bet on themselves. They have the skills. They probably even have the talent, but they are fighting themselves and they don't ever pursue their dreams. You quit a job to go pursue a dream, not for 3 months, for 3 years, and utilize your skills to sustain you. Do you know how many people don't do that?
I do know it's
very rare.
It's kind of frightening.
They say 26% of the population is actually happy with their job.
And those people will always be happy because they're willing to make the decision, take the action to stay happy.
26.
Yeah.
Not even the majority.
I'm still happy because I love teaching freshmen math. I was so amazed at my first faculty meeting at the high school. All we talked about was student success. How do we help these students get where they're supposed to go?
Interesting. Okay. There's still other things about you that you haven't disclosed. What happened with the Olympics? You can't just leave us hanging 3 years. Bloomington, Indiana. What happened?
So the Olympic goes this way. To trials.
Yeah.
You have to be in the top 36 to make it. So they take 36 to the Olympic trials.
Okay.
I missed the trials by 3/100th of a second.
You're kidding me.
No.
Did you cuss everybody out? I've been going off. I'd have been on the track like, what the? Yeah.
Well, I still ran faster at 30 than I ran at 20. So I had.
So you felt like.
I did what I wanted to do, gave it a fair shot. And making it to the trials would not have changed my life from what followed anyway, because
Tell me more.
3 years, I'm going off to take advantage of my engineering degree.
Why did you only say, why? What was the 3 year thing about?
that was the next Olympic try. The next Olympics came in 3 years.
Yeah, so
I
like,
wasn't going to say 7 more years.
oh, okay. Like I was like, why
Yeah.
not do it again? Like
Nope.
you were like, I'm done.
Yeah, and I put everything I had, knowing that I still had options afterwards.
Okay.
But I trained with some amazing people, people who were very, very talented.
Mm-hmm.
And what I learned there was it's just hard work. It's
Yes.
just hard work and consistency and things.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I had reached some level of success, I didn't even realize there was another level of hard work and consistency beyond that. You know, we were
Same.
running 13 times a week, twice a day for 6 days a week, and then a 12-miler on Sunday. We were just. It was
This
just.
sounds like the worst 3 years. I'm not doing this.
But it took a couple years for me to fully embrace, because again, I'm a person who had an idea that
Mm-hmm.
I'm a runner,
Yeah.
and then I'm faced with what does it take to run at the highest level.
Yeah.
And to not just be one of the better runners, but to be in the top 50, top,
Mm-hmm.
35 in the country,
Mm-hmm.
that's another level. And so I learned that I can do this.
Mm-hmm.
One of the problems of doing it is that's all you're going to do.
It takes that level of.
It does. It is the reason I couldn't do it while working a full-time job is a full-time job.
Yeah.
It's running twice, lifting, taking care of your body,
Mhm.
eating right. I mean, and every time you finish a run, you're already thinking about what do I need to do to prepare myself for the next run. And it was,
Oof.
and this is why so many athletes fail at even the professional level,
Mhm.
because they got there on talent, but they don't have the commitment or the discipline to stay there.
Ooh, I get that. I do. Like I'm like, because you have the consistency. That's rough. 6 days a week, miles upon miles. That's a lot. Okay, so 3 years were up. Where'd you go?
So then I started looking, and I actually looked here.
Yeah.
But the person who helped me, my mentor, who
Mhm.
got me through and basically said to me while I was in grad school, even though I was having a horrible experience,
Mhm.
my advisor wasn't doing what my advisor needed to be doing. He would close his door, and we would have to knock and feel like we were imposing on him as grad students, would have to knock on his door to get his attention. And
Why did he have students if he didn't want students?
He
because you
came.
have to.
He came from industry, and this wasn't his model, so he wasn't adapting well to academia.
He came from ministry.
And yes, he was recruited from industry.
Industry. I think he said ministry. I was like, what was he doing? Okay,
He
got
came
it.
from industry,
Okay.
and the academic model is different than the industry
Oh,
model.
for sure.
And he wasn't mentored himself. So, but my department chair at the time said, "You're going to graduate."
And made sure.
And did everything, put me on stipend, did everything.
Mhm.
And I was able to pick my project, and my project became a machine intelligence thing that had nothing to do with what my advisor was doing.
Mhm.
It was reinforcement learning. I picked my real advisor was at Wright Pat. He was kind of the dean of the area. And I put my committee together, and my advisor had no idea what I was doing.
But didn't seem to care, apparently.
He thought it was unusual, but again, he couldn't argue with the team I put together.
Okay.
And the work I did.
Okay.
And I then went to, so right after I graduated my PhD, I went to work at Wright Pat with my mentor. And so it was very difficult for me to say I'm leaving to go run.
Oh. Was there support though?
They were stunned. Well, because again, this is, one of the people not in my team, he said, "What about your retirement?" And I'm thinking, why am I thinking my retirement? Because, you're in the military, you're in the federal government. They got a great retirement plan.
Yeah.
30 years out, you're going to be, or 20 years out, you're going to be great. But I'm not giving up. I'm not living for what's going to happen 20 years from now.
Yeah,
But that was the attitude. And I saw that they're just people biding their time.
Yes, they're like, in 20 years I'll live.
And
life isn't happening right now.
And it affected everything they did, how they approached their own jobs, And I thought, can I survive in this environment for even 5 years, let alone 25 or 30? No. And I, as an athlete, I had to physically, if not just, virtually compete against people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went to Bloomington, I trained, I did a lot of things. And then in the end, I decided not to even try to go back, to write back.
Okay.
I wanted to go to academia because I had that taste of life
You were
as
working at Bloomington,
in
right?
Bloomington
Are
in
you?
computer
Mhm,
science.
mhm.
And I wanted to go back in engineering because computer science and engineering are different enough that
Mhm,
they don't even speak the same language.
mhm.
And so I first looked here, but the person who mentored me had now become the dean of the College of Engineering at Toledo, Vikram Kapoor.
Oh, is that why you were at Toledo?
And he said, "You're coming here."
I love that for you.
Mhm.
That's
And
awesome.
he then became the president, and
Mhm.
he was my mentor all the way through
Mhm.
until I decided to come back here because Toledo's a fine school, but the University of Cincinnati with its med school right
Mhm.
across the way and the
Mhm.
things I was doing, I needed to be down here. I needed to be at a place like this.
But I also heard that you were kind of a genius.
I don't know what that means.
Don't do that.
I don't know what that means.
We don't do the humble thing on the
That's not
podcast.
humble. And
I mean, what does it mean to you? Because a lot of people actually have told me this.
okay, are
Because-
they geniuses themselves? Because they would probably think he's a little shy of genius.
No.
That's probably what they would say.
No. I'm being serious. Not most people can't fluctuate between a computer science department and engineering department. Your degree's not in biomedical engineering. You taught in
No.
biomedical engineering. You're electrical engineering, but then
Mhm.
you did mechanical things. You do biomedical thing.
Mhm.
So how many people do you know that have that diverse talent that aren't geniuses?
Well, you.
That felt good. I'm going to soak that in. That felt good. I'm being serious.
First, it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, because you do this whole humble thing that I love, but also I'm
No,
like,
that's not why it doesn't matter. It matters if there's a problem, you're going to try to solve it.
okay, but people
you don't-
want to solve problems that don't have the skills to do it or the understanding of how things fit together. How we talked about in the beginning,
Mhm.
like the spatial visualization, you do
Mhm.
that with problems and you understand the skills needed, but then you also have them. That's a lot. That's a lot of pieces of the puzzle that you got.
Or when I don't, I'm smart enough to go find people who can.
Agreed. But the
Okay.
fact that you know what the skill is
Mhm.
also lets you know that you have a higher level of thinking. Most people don't know I don't know what I need.
Mhm.
You do know what you need.
Well, and again, it comes down to putting your ego aside.
Okay.
And what is the priority here? To show other people how good you are or to get something accomplished?
Yeah, but I feel like it's okay sometimes to acknowledge the fact that you're really smart. Like beyond smart. Like smart is like, I'm smart. You're beyond that.
I don't Maybe it's because my goal is to seek out people even smarter than me.
Okay.
And so
I'm going to let you have your little humble
thank
moment.
you. Thank you.
But for the crowd, that ain't it. This man is literally a genius. And I just think he doesn't want you guys to know. Maybe you don't want people to know?
I don't know what that
Okay.
even means.
If you need something, hit him up. He probably knows how to do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes. I love that. Okay, you're from Ohio too, right?
Most of my years,
What does that mean?
my father was a civilian in the military.
I don't think I knew that part.
So I was born in California when he worked on jet fuel, rocket fuel for
Oh,
the
wow.
Apollo missions.
I don't. Again, learning new. I really thought you were from Springfield,
Yellow Springs.
Yellow Springs.
Mhm.
Dave Chappelle. You
Yes.
get annoyed by that, don't you? That's what I was. Oh, Ohio, Yellow Spring. That's what I thought you were from.
I spent a lot of time, but I was born in California. I actually moved to Yellow Springs from Washington, D.C.
Oh,
And
okay.
I was living there in the late 60s, all
Okay.
the way up to 70, in a very tumultuous time.
Oh, I don't know about this. Oh, well,
well-
DC. Okay, never mind. Duh.
And so we
Oh.
moved there because of, the riots
Mhm.
and my mother said she's not raising her kids in this environment. And so my father, who was working at the Pentagon,
Mhm.
had to, and he was a fast track to do everything. He was already National War College graduate. people who graduate from them becomes generals,
Yes.
ambassadors, and he said, okay,
My eyes are so
we're
big
going
right
to
now.
Yellow Springs.
Of the whole country you could go to, what was in Yellow Springs?
Well, Yellow Springs at the time allowed blacks to live where blacks wanted to live. Because you either lived on the certain part of Dayton,
Yeah.
or you lived in Yellow Springs.
And there it is. Like, that wasn't what I expected you to say at all. But then, like, the harsh reality of, like,
Well, my father was in the Department of Defense because he was told as a engineer, well, his story is amazing, and my mother's story is amazing. And so part of what I do is to make sure their stories don't end.
I love that.
So my father I was once going to give a presentation at the University of Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And my father, and I was from Richmond, Virginia. He grew up in Richmond, Virginia. And he was so amazed. And I couldn't understand. I've given presentations at all sorts of universities.
Like, what are you talking about?
And he says, I always wanted to go to the University of Virginia. And at the time, I didn't understand why I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But the University of Virginia was an all-white school, and he was not allowed to go to the University of Virginia. In fact, every engineering school in Virginia was an all-white school. He had to leave the state to become an engineer. And so he went to NYU. And I once asked him, how does a guy from Richmond, Virginia end up in NYU? Yeah. He said, well, he went to the military, got the GI Bill, and told his family, I need to leave to do what I need to do. This. And he went to NYU, got his degree in chemical engineering. After getting his degree in chemistry from Virginia Union, an all-black school. So then he went and he was working at Louisville and DuPont, and he was a training engineer. And he once asked, well, why are all these engineers I'm training ending up in all these positions, but I'm not in any of these positions? And they told him that nobody's ever going to take an order from you. And so he left, and he went to worked for the Department of Defense. So in Louisville, he met my mother. So my parents were from the South. Yeah. From Confederate South, as I say. And Richmond, Virginia is the heart of Confederate South. And they decided they're not going to raise their kids, not just in the South, but in any way that resembled the South. And so
that's why we ended up
in Yellow Springs, a very diverse community of 4,000 surrounded by farmland.
Sorry. The diverse community of 10. Like,
well, it's a great place.
Yeah.
It was a great place to be. But that's the sacrifice they made for their kids.
That's amazing.
And it is amazing. Yeah. It is amazing.
I don't think people realize, oof, that's amazing. I mean, people ask me all the time, like, how'd your family end up in Ohio and why would you stay? If you knew, like, I know why my grandparents were here and how we ended up here. You would never ask because it's where they needed to be. Like, my grandpa was a dentist in a time that I don't think people realize he wasn't allowed to practice. So you know why we ended up in Mansfield, Ohio? That's where the state pen is. He was the dentist at the state penitentiary where they don't really care. So that's where he could practice. Never ask me why I'm right. Like, I'm like, it wasn't like they didn't want different things. He went to school at Howard. Like, he wanted different things. He had to go where he could be employed.
Yep.
Safely employed.
So my mother became a teacher, high school teacher, dad engineer. So I'm kind of have a little of both of them in me.
Yeah, you're a nice blend. Yeah.
But, times have changed and times haven't all changed a whole lot.
I don't feel like they're very different. They look different from aesthetics, but it's all the same. I never thought I could say that I understood my grandpa's stories, and the fact that I do really hurts my feelings sometimes. It's the biggest disappointment of my life. I don't know. I just thought it was different. I believed all of the propaganda of, like, we're a melting pot and, like, we love each other and we want everyone to be successful. I believed it. And I didn't realize. I'm happy I believed it. I don't think I would have persevered if I knew how dark and twisty things could be, but it also is disappointing to realize the truth.
Well, people are selfish.
Yes.
And they also are short-sighted and believe whatever that defines them is better than whatever defines other people. And when you put that together, you get what you get.
You have to end on something good.
Okay.
Tell me something good. Do you have other hobbies? End on that. What's something that we can do that's not running? Because no one's running 5 miles. Give me a hobby. Let's something good.
So I do like renovating my house. Okay, it's a creative process.
Oh.
So you get to take something and you get to envision what it's going to look like. And then you have to do all the hard work to get it done.
You do it all yourself.
Mechanical, electrical, wall insulation, wiring, everything.
You do it all yourself.
And you take something and you turn it into something completely different.
Okay, give me something I can do.
You could do the same thing.
No, I would destroy something.
Destroying
You know
is
what
the
I
first
could
step.
actually do? I probably could do the electrical wiring. I'm into it. But I couldn't do the plumbing.
Well, plumbing is more challenging, but everything is made a lot simpler. We're not doing cast irons, PVC, so
Yeah.
it's glue and
It
cutting
just
plastic.
seems like not my thing. But electrical, I could get into that.
Electrical. Well, there's only 2 things you need to get into: is electrical and plumbing.
You know what I really
And
would
most
like to know
rooms
how to
don't
do?
need plumbing.
I really want to know how to do drywall. When I paid
Drywall-
someone to do that, I was mad. Like I
Well-
really felt like I could have done
And
this.
you've just gotten to why I do it.
I thought you're like, because you think you could do it?
Well, because the last thing you want to do is pay someone an enormous amount of money for something that isn't done well.
Yes.
So
I was literally like, you're kidding me.
Yep.
I don't have the patience to do the mudding.
So you either then have to find someone who you're willing to pay the amount of money it takes, or you're gonna have to learn it yourself.
I mean, I'm not opposed. Maybe when I'm done with some of these other projects.
A bedroom is where you start first because it's just electrical and insulation and drywall. There's no plumbing.
That's true.
So you start with bed. Kitchen and bathrooms are the last thing you'd ever attempt.
I really do want to redo my kitchen.
That's what I'm working on. I'm moving my kitchen. I'm living in old Victorian. It's got huge rooms, and how we use them has changed over time. Nobody needs a 20-foot long dining room, but it makes a great kitchen because that's the center of the house.
Oh, so you're going to move everything into the dining.
Yep. From a smaller kitchen into
What are you going to do
bigger.
with the kitchen area?
Kitchen is either going to be a downstairs bedroom with a first floor bath or
Oh.
a study. It's
I
flexible.
vote for a library.
A library.
Like a study.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it depends on who uses it next. Or, thing with Victorians, they have steep stairs.
Yeah.
So it was an upstairs, downstairs kind of thing. So designing that flexibility for the next person, I'm only the 3rd owner in a house that's 120 years old.
Wow.
So really kind of looks very much like it used
did.
to.
Do you like that?
I do like that because the other thing is when you go into an old home and you see some people have made some decisions that you then have to undo because they made no sense or they wanted to turn it into a modern home. Well, go buy a modern home.
Yeah, leave the Victorian home.
Leave the Victorian home. So I still have all the natural wood trim and
That's
that you
rare.
you cannot replace.
Yeah, that's really rare. You have a gym. Okay. Well, that's it. That's our hobby, renovation.
Okay.
Thank you for coming on my podcast.
My pleasure.
Thank you for always working with me. You were the voice of Lewis Latimer for the animated
Yes, I
show,
was.
which is fantastic. We're actually going in January to the Latimer house. The family has his home preserved as a
Wow.
museum for our Beyond the episode. So we'll be doing that. I'm trying to think. You've just Epic. So our Epic projects have been fantastic. You're writing the book chapter with us about the Epic book that comes out. Thank you for always saying yes. Because
Well,
you don't have to.
I don't have to say yes, and I don't always say yes to everything, but I do say yes to things that are important, and this is important.
Well, it makes me feel good because all my projects must be important because you say yes to me. So, thank you.
You're welcome.
Awesome.
Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of the Princess of STEM with Dr. Whitney Gaskins. For more episodes, find us on YouTube and Spotify.